Captain Marcus Stone of the Zephyrian Empire's flagship Dominator stood frozen at his command station. His three eyes focused on the tactical display, showing something that shouldn't exist. A human vessel, sleek and dark, hung motionless in the void of space, deeper in Empire territory than any primitive species had ever ventured. "Confirm the reading, Navigator Zelix," Stone commanded, his scaled hands trembling slightly. The reptilian officer's fingers danced across holographic controls, running the scan 3 more times. "Confirmed, Captain. Human vessel, designation unknown, approximately 400 meters from our position. Power signature is unusual." Zelix's voice carried confusion that matched Stone's growing unease. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of life support systems. Every crew member understood the implications. Humans were supposed to be contained within their solar system, barely capable of reaching their own moon, according to Empire intelligence reports. They were primitive, backward creatures who had been graciously allowed to exist under Empire protection after signing the containment accords 30 years ago. "How did it penetrate our sensor networks?" Stone demanded. "We have detection grids spanning dozens of light years in every direction." "Unknown, sir. It appeared on our screens as if it materialized from nowhere. No hyperspace signature, no energy trail, nothing." The human ship was unlike anything in Stone's extensive military database, where Empire vessels featured ornate golden hulls with ceremonial spires and decorative elements befitting their superior civilization. This craft was purely functional. Its dark metal surface seemed to absorb starlight, making it nearly invisible against the cosmic backdrop. Strange, angular protrusions extended from its hull, their purpose unclear but undeniably threatening. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," announced Communications Officer Tyrek, his amphibious features showing surprise. "The signal is encrypted using our own military protocols." Stone felt ice form in his veins. How could a primitive species know Empire encryption codes? "Put it through, but keep weapons systems ready." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a human female in her 30s with short brown hair and piercing green eyes. She wore a simple black uniform with minimal insignia, but her expression radiated quiet confidence that made Stone deeply uncomfortable. "This is Commander Jessica Reynolds of the Terran vessel Ghostwalker," she said, her voice steady and clear. "I believe you're wondering how we got here, Captain Stone." The use of his name sent another chill through the bridge crew. Stone straightened his uniform, trying to project authority he no longer felt certain he possessed. "Human, you are in violation of the Galactic Containment Treaty. Your species is restricted to your home system by imperial decree. How do you know my identity?" Reynolds smiled, an expression that somehow managed to be both polite and predatory. "Captain, I think there's been a fundamental misunderstanding about humanity's capabilities." Commander Reynolds gestured to something off-screen, and Stone's tactical display began registering new contacts. His breath caught in his throat. As human vessels decloaked around the Dominator, they materialized from empty space like ghosts becoming solid, their dark hulls reflecting the Empire ship's lights. "Impossible," Stone whispered, watching the numbers. "Climb. 10 contacts, then 20, then 50. Each vessel was smaller than his dreadnought, but their combined presence was overwhelming. "Nothing is impossible, Captain," Reynolds replied, having heard his comment through an open channel. "While your treaty kept Earth's politicians quiet, it didn't stop our engineers, scientists, or explorers. We've been very busy these past 30 years." Stone's tactical officer, a young Zephyrian named Korax, reported with a shaking voice, "Captain, I'm detecting advanced weapon signatures on all human vessels. Power readings they're beyond our current understanding." "How?" Stone demanded, his composure finally cracking. "Our intelligence reports show humans barely capable of interplanetary travel. Your technology is centuries behind ours." Reynolds' smile widened. revealing what Stone now recognized as the expression of an apex predator. "That's where you made your first mistake, Captain. You assumed that because we were newer to space travel, we were inferior, but humans have something your empire lost long ago, the drive to innovate born from necessity." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle over the bridge crew. "Every probe you sent to our system, every spy you planted in our governments, every sensor array you established to monitor us, we knew about all of it from the beginning. We fed you exactly the information we wanted you to have." The sensor officer reported, "Captain, I'm detecting massive energy buildups across their fleet. Whatever weapons they're charging, the power signatures are off our charts." Stone felt his world shifting beneath him. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for millennia, unchallenged in their technological superiority. Species that showed promise were either absorbed into the Empire or contained until they could be properly integrated. Humans were supposed to be just another primitive species awaiting enlightenment. "What do you want?" Stone asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "First, formal recognition that the containment treaty is void," Reynolds stated, her tone becoming businesslike. "Second, establishment of proper diplomatic relations between humanity and the Zephyrian Empire. Third, reparations for 30 years of technological suppression and monitoring." "And if we refuse?" Stone managed to ask, though he already suspected. The answer. Reynolds' expression never changed, but something cold and ancient entered her eyes. "Then you'll discover why Earth's most popular entertainment genres are military science fiction and horror stories. We're exceptionally good at imagining creative solutions to problems, Captain." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Even among the Empire's vast database of species, humanity's reputation for creativity and adaptability was noted with a mixture of admiration and concern. "I'll need to consult with Imperial Command," Stone said finally. "Of course. But Captain, let me give you some friendly advice. Humans spent millennia fighting each other before we reached the stars. We understand warfare in ways your peaceful empire has forgotten." The transmission ended, leaving Captain Stone's bridge in stunned silence. The tactical display showed the human fleet maintaining perfect formation around the Dominator, each vessel positioned with mathematical precision that spoke of advanced tactical coordination. "Orders, sir?" asked Navigator Zelix, his voice uncertain for the first time in his career. Stone studied the display more carefully. What he had initially taken for 50 vessels was merely the first wave. New contacts continued to appear as more human ships decloaked, their numbers growing exponentially. The technology required for such widespread cloaking capabilities was beyond current Empire understanding. "Run a deep analysis on their ship designs," Stone ordered. "I want to know everything about their construction, materials, and potential." Capabilities. Science Officer Vex, a brilliant Zephyrian with specialized training in xenotechnology, worked frantically at his station. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion written across his scaled features. "Captain, the hull composition doesn't match any known materials in our database. The energy signatures suggest they're using some form of controlled exotic matter manipulation. Their power cores appear to be generating energy at levels that should be impossible for vessels of their size." Stone felt another pieces of his understanding crumble. "Explain." "Sir, based on these readings, each human vessel possesses more raw energy output than our dreadnought, if they're all armed." Vex trailed off, unable to complete the terrifying implication. Tactical Officer Korax interrupted. "Captain, I'm detecting movement from their formation. They're not advancing, but they're adjusting positions. It's like they're preparing for something." On the view screen, the human vessels began a complex dance through space. Their movements were fluid, coordinated, speaking of countless hours of training and preparation. Unlike Empire ships that relied on overwhelming firepower and heavy armor, these craft moved with deadly grace. "Open a channel to Imperial Command," Stone ordered. "Priority Alpha transmission." The communication array reached across space to the Empire's capital world. Within minutes, Grand Admiral Thane's image appeared on a secondary screen, his ancient features showing irritation at being disturbed. "Captain Stone, this had better be important. I was in the middle of the Galactic Council session." "Admiral, we have a situation. Humans have penetrated deep into Empire space with advanced technology far beyond our intelligence estimates." Thane's expression shifted from annoyance to concern. "Explain." Stone quickly summarized the encounter, watching the Grand Admiral's face grow increasingly grave. When he finished, Thane was silent for long moments. "How many ships?" Thane finally asked. "Currently showing over 200 contacts, sir. They appear to have been monitoring our activities for decades while concealing their true capabilities." 200 ships this deep in our territory suggests a massive intelligence failure," Thane muttered. "What are their demands?" Stone relayed Commander Reynolds' 3 conditions. Thane's expression darkened with each point. "Reparations? They want us to pay them for our protection. The audacity of these primitives is astounding." "Sir, with respect, their technology appears to be anything but primitive. Our sensors are detecting capabilities that suggest they may pose a genuine threat to Empire security." Thane was quiet again, processing the implications. The Empire had faced rebellions before, but never from a species they had considered contained and controlled. "Maintain your position, Captain. Do not engage unless fired upon. I'm convening the War Council." Hours passed in tense standoff. The human fleet maintained their positions, while Stone awaited orders from the Imperial War Council. The Dominator's crew worked quietly at their stations, but the tension was palpable. They were facing the unknown, and for the first time in their careers, they felt vulnerable. Commander Reynolds opened a new channel, her image appearing on the main screen. "Captain Stone, I hope you don't mind, but we've been monitoring your communications with Imperial Command." Stone's blood ran cold. "That's impossible. Our quantum encryption is unbreakable." "Was unbreakable," Reynolds corrected gently. "Captain, your empire has grown complacent. You've ruled unchallenged for so long that you've forgotten innovation requires opposition. Let me show you something." She gestured again, and the space around them began to change. What had appeared to be empty voids suddenly revealed massive structures. Weapons platforms, resource collectors, and manufacturing facilities materialized. From nowhere, their presence hidden by the same cloaking technology that concealed the fleet. "My God," whispered Science Officer Vex. "Captain, I'm reading industrial capacity that rivals our primary shipyards. How long have they been building this?" Reynolds heard the question. "Construction began the day after your treaty was signed. Officer Vex, 30 years of preparation, 30 years of watching and learning from every Empire vessel that entered our space." The tactical display updated again, showing the true scope of the human presence. It wasn't just a fleet, it was a complete military infrastructure hidden in the depths of space, far from any known trade routes or Empire patrols. "This is madness," Stone said, his voice strained. "The resources required for such construction would bankrupt entire systems. How did you manage it?" "Human ingenuity, Captain. We learned to do more with less out of necessity. Every asteroid in our outer system, every comet, every piece of space debris became raw material. We developed automated manufacturing that could replicate itself and grow exponentially." Reynolds paused, letting the implications sink in. "But the real secret was something your empire could never understand. Cooperation born from shared purpose. Every human colony, every nation, every corporation worked together toward a common goal. We unified in ways your conquered species never could. Communications Officer Tyrek reported. Captain, I'm receiving a priority transmission from Grand Admiral Thane. The Grand Admiral's image appeared, his expression grave. Captain Stone, the War Council has reached a decision. We cannot allow this precedent to stand. If humans are permitted to break containment and make demands, other species will follow. The Empire's authority cannot be challenged. Stone felt his stomach drop. Sir, their capabilities appear to exceed our initial assessments. Perhaps, but the Empire has resources these primitives cannot match. You are ordered to demand their immediate surrender and withdrawal from Empire space. If they refuse, you are authorized to use all necessary force. The transmission ended, leaving Stone staring at Commander Reynolds, who had clearly heard every word. Well, Captain, Reynolds said softly, it appears your empire has made its choice. I had hoped for a peaceful resolution, but humans have always been prepared for war. She looked directly into the camera, her green eyes reflecting steel determination. Let me show you what 30 years of human preparation looks like. What happened next would be recorded in galactic history as the moment everything changed. Commander Reynolds gave a single hand signal, and the human fleet acted with precision that spoke of countless hours of coordination. The space around. The Dominator erupted in controlled chaos. Human vessels moved with impossible speed and agility, demonstrating technology that made Empire ships look like ancient relics. Energy weapons of unknown design painted the void with deadly light, but not aimed at the Zephyrian dreadnought. Instead, they targeted the empty space around them, and Captain Stone watched in horror as his ship's sensor arrays detected massive explosions occurring throughout the Empire sector. The humans were simultaneously striking targets across dozens of star systems, coordinating attacks through some form of instantaneous communication that bypassed known physical laws. Captain, Korax reported, his voice shaking, I'm receiving distress signals from 17 Imperial installations, Starbase Omega, the Nexus mining colony, Fleet Depot 7. They're all reporting surprise attacks by human forces. Stone realized the terrible truth. This wasn't just one fleet, it was a coordinated strike across the entire Empire frontier. While they had been focused on this single encounter, humanity had been positioning forces throughout Imperial space. How? He whispered. Commander Reynolds heard him. 30 years of patience, Captain. 30 years of watching your patrol routes, studying your defenses, learning your weaknesses. While your empire grew complacent, humanity was preparing for this moment. The tactical display showed the scope of the assault. Human forces had emerged from hiding throughout the sector, striking with surgical precision at key Imperial infrastructure, while avoiding civilian populations. It was warfare conducted with a level of strategic sophistication that the Empire hadn't seen in centuries. Sir, reported Science Officer Vex, the attacks appear to be targeting military installations exclusively. They're crippling our ability to respond while leaving civilian areas untouched. Reynolds nodded approvingly. Humanity learned long ago that winning hearts and minds is as important as winning battles. We're not conquerors, Captain Stone. We're liberators. A new voice joined the communication channel. Grand Admiral Thane appeared on screen, his composure finally cracking. Impossible. How are they coordinating attacks across such vast distances? No known technology allows for instantaneous communication at these ranges. No known technology in your databases, Reynolds corrected. But then, your databases have been deliberately incomplete for 30 years. She gestured to her tactical officer, and new information appeared on Stone's display. Detailed schematics of Empire vessels, complete tactical assessments of Imperial defenses, personnel files of key military officers. Humanity possessed intelligence that should have been impossible to obtain. Every diplomatic meeting, every trade negotiation, every cultural exchange your empire conducted with Earth was an intelligence-gathering operation from our perspective, Reynolds explained. We've been mapping your entire civilization while you saw us as primitive curiosities. Stone's communication array crackled with incoming reports. Imperial fleets throughout the sector were reporting similar encounters, human forces appearing from nowhere, demonstrating technological superiority and offering the same terms Reynolds had presented. "What happens now?" Stone asked, his voice carrying the weight of defeat. Reynolds' expression softened slightly. "Now, Captain, we build something better. The Empire's time as the sole galactic power is over, but that doesn't mean destruction. Humanity offers partnership, not conquest. We've learned that diversity of thought and approach makes everyone stronger." She paused, looking directly at Stone. "Your crew can return to Empire space and report what they've seen. Tell your leaders that humanity is no longer contained, but we're not your enemies unless you make us so. The galaxy is big enough for all of us to thrive." The human fleet began to withdraw, their ships fading back into invisibility as their cloaking systems engaged. Within minutes, the space around the Dominator appeared empty once again, as if the entire encounter had been a dream. But the sensor logs remained, and the distress calls continued streaming in from across the Empire. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had announced their arrival not as supplicants seeking approval, but as equals demanding respect. Captain Stone stared at the empty space where the human fleet had been, knowing that nothing would ever be the same. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next.